Hello and welcome to this recording on how to have your productivity and planning for an outstanding year in business. My name is Mark Smith from Mark Smith Peak Performance, and while this is intended to be for the start of a financial year, the reality is you can use this any time of the year whenever you need to plan or replan or get more efficient in your time management and your productivity strategies. Now, we're going to take you through 3 key steps. Well, actually, there's 6 steps, but there's going to be 3 key worksheets within this. If you haven't got the worksheets downloaded already, go to my website, which is marksmithpeakperformance.com.au, and download the worksheet from there. And you can work through this together. This is intended to show you how to work through the worksheets, going from the big picture side of things all the way down to how do you structure your hours through the week so you can be most efficient to get the most out of your year, and ultimately really make sure you achieve all of your goals for this next financial year. Now, this recording does come with a little bit of a prerequisite, is that you've already worked out what are your goals for the year. What do you want to achieve for the year? If you're not clear on your goals, then please drop me an email or go to my other recordings. We've got another recording prepared around setting goals. Because once you've got the goals, then it's looking at, okay, how do I achieve them effectively? And that's what this recording is all about. So we're going to kick off with a little metaphor. You may have heard it before. There was once this teacher that stood up in front of a class with a tray of rocks, a tray of sand, and a bucket of water. And he asked the students, okay, how do I fit the most amount of stuff that I possibly can in the bucket? And some of the kids said add the water first because it's going to fill it all up. Others said add the sand first and then squeeze everything else around it. And then the teacher said, all right, this is how we will do it. He starts off with a bucket, an empty bucket, and he takes all the big rocks first, and he adds all the big rocks in, and then he says to the students, look, what do I do next? How can I fit more in? And some of the students said, well, look, you've filled it with the rocks now, you can't possibly fit any more in. So then the teacher, he goes and he takes the sand and he pours the sand over the rocks, and it all filters down in around the rocks. And to the students' surprise, they're like, wow, I didn't know you could fit more in, but you couldn't possibly fit more in than that. And the teacher says, watch this. He takes his jug of water and he just gradually adds the water, and it absorbs, it fills in the spaces all around the grains of sand until the bucket is completely filled. And this is ultimately how we want to look at our time. If you fill it just with water, you won't get the big rocks in the bucket. You'll be left over with things, other things that are essential in the bucket but don't get taken care of. Or if you do it in the wrong order, then it doesn't work either. You're left with things on the table. So we're going to make sure that you get to use your time throughout your week effectively and efficiently. And as with all things, even though we're talking about business, there is a big key point in what we look at as taking care of your personal as well. So in page 1 in your workbooks, you'll have a year planner. This is a financial year planner, and as I said, it doesn't matter what time of year it is. You can do this any time of year. For business, we look at a financial year. If it's personal, we often look at a calendar year from January through to December. Well, what you do once you've got this mapped out, here is your empty bucket right now. Now, keeping in mind what you have as goals for the end of the financial year, now you're going to start adding in the rocks. And the rocks are the things like birthdays. My birthday's on the 12th of September, so we've highlighted this one. Anniversaries and holidays as well. So I'm going away in November, so I need to make sure that that's blocked in. And in addition to this, while that's personal side of things, there's also the business side. So maybe we might plan to do a workshop in February from the 10th to the 12th. So that all gets blocked in. So now you spend a bit of time just mapping out all the different things in the year. If you are not sure how things plan out, then either do it on a whiteboard so you can rub it out and move things around, or do it in pencil to begin with and then start to pen things in as they start to become a bit more solid. And use lots of colors. Do different colors for different things so that at a glance you can easily see where it is. But don't be afraid to fill it up. But make sure it's just the rocks that are going in first. It's the rocks, the key events, so you know where they are through the year, and you can start to look at, okay, if you do need to prioritize different things, where do they sit? If you have a family, maybe you've got kids, if Saturday morning is always sports time with them, then book that out on Saturday mornings. You can't. That's going to be one of your rocks, one of your regular weekly commitments. Or maybe it's not your job to take the kids to sports, and Saturday mornings are free, but they might have some key events that you absolutely want to make sure that you're there for. There's assemblies, graduations, sporting events. Make sure they're booked in as well. So you've got them all spread out through the year, and you know where your key moments are. All right, now you've got the rocks penciled in. What I want you to also do is, as you go through this process, is have a little pad of post-it notes sitting right next to you. And every time you have a thought around, I don't know if I can do this, or I can't do that because, write it down. These are what we call limiting beliefs. These are the thoughts and beliefs that tell you can't do something. Now, these are the things that will absolutely hold you back through the year. So you got to be clear on what they are first, and then this is what coaching is all about. It's helping you eliminate those so you clear those barriers. But write them down on a post-it note. They get them out of your mind, and you'll set them off to the side. Don't throw them out. Just set them off to the side so you know that those are the speed bumps you're going to have to deal with in order to make this year successful. But it helps you get it out of your mind and have something to come back to later. All right, now that you've planned out your year, we move on to the second sheet, which is your monthly planner. And for that monthly planner, it's now going for each month, or you could break it into a quarter. There's nothing stopping you from just adding another column which summarizes the quarter. And then you got your goals for the year. What are your goals for the quarters? And now you can start to set some targets for each month. So on my planner, I've got on here, for example, February, a 3-day workshop. So maybe I've got plans in October to do the sales for the workshop, and that might be my key focus for October. So my sales for the February workshop would sit here. My financial goal might be to turn over $50,000. Whatever your benchmark, whatever your measure for finances is, make sure this is on here as well. My marketing is to focus on the workshop. And my other elements, so just be aware of, is I'm going away in November, so I need to plan for my November holiday and make sure business is taken care of while I'm away. Now, this is just one example of 1 month. You would go through for each of the months, just have a glance, have a look at your year plan, and look at what do I need to focus on this month in order to take me to my year goals. Well, I need to focus on this month to set me up for the next quarter or the next months and make sure that my goals are on track. Because when we look at the goals for the year, they might be really, really big. And we need to break them down all the way down to daily tasks. Now, we're not at the point of daily yet. We're now at monthly focus. But the next step comes to the daily tasks. And the small things you would do that, if done consistently every day, would guarantee to get you towards your goals. Now, if you've got a financial goal of turning over $1 million this financial year, then you will need to plan out what that means for your monthly. Maybe it's a linear increase, or you're going to break it down into the same amount of sales for every month. Or maybe there's a sliding scale. If you need to do $100,000 of sales in one of your months, then it might not be realistic to go straight to $100,000 every month. You might need to gradually build it up and have a plan around that and a marketing plan. Or you might have a seasonal business where there's a couple of months that are really your months to bite the bullet, knuckle down, and really drive your marketing and sales, and then look at how that plans out over your whole month. And then this becomes your benchmarks month to month as to see how you're going. All right, now you've got your monthly focus. It's time to look at what happens in your ideal average week. So here we are, we're looking at our week, and we've got a blank canvas again. These are all the hours you've got in your week. I'm assuming you're going to sleep from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. So feel free to adjust this if you need to. And on an ideal average week, what would your week look like? So again, we put in the rocks. What are the things that are booked in every single week that you must do? I do a Wednesday morning coaching workshop, so that's blocked out. Then I have a marketing networking event that I do every Tuesday morning, so that gets blocked in. If I have a coaching session for 90 minutes from 9 till 11 on Thursdays, I block all those things in. So keep blocking in all your regular appointment slots, or where you have your one-to-one face-to-face time, or your regular appointments. This also includes if you have Saturday mornings with the kids, then book that in as well. If Friday night is date night, put that in there. So you give all of your time a purpose. You allocate it. Now, remembering this is your ideal, normal, standard, average week. It doesn't mean that it won't be flexible or it won't change a little bit, but this would then become the blueprint of what you're aiming to fill your time with. And then where your spaces are, you start to look at, okay, what's my task here? So Tuesday, I've put this in green here. Tuesday afternoon might be my marketing and sales time. So for me, on Tuesday afternoons, that's when I sit in my office. I have my list of people to follow up or calls, and I just get on the phone and I start making those phone calls. And it's blocked out. Like, I know Tuesday afternoons for that because it's in my diary. Because you need to give your time a purpose. Because if you don't give it a purpose, then it evaporates. Same thing happens with money. So if anyone's ever done any budgeting with money, if you don't give every dollar a purpose, it evaporates, it disappears. And you come to the end of the month, you're like, where did that money go? And it just disappears on parking, coffees. It gets used somewhere. But if you don't know what its purpose is, then it'll get spent. And then you've got your ideal week. Now, the things that really make sure you book into your week is if you know that you need to put your sales hat on at some point every week, and that's an important task or important activity you need to do in order to achieve your monthly goals or your yearly goals, that needs to go in your planner on a weekly or daily basis, so it's committed to being done. If you do it one week and you don't do it for a couple of weeks and then you wonder why you didn't make the sales that you wanted to, then that's why you didn't consistently commit to what you needed to do. If you're in a business where you need to create content or a program or create products to sell to people, then there needs to be some regular creativity time where you create those things. If you have a business where behind the scenes, when you're not face to face with your clients, you need to do some work on their cases, their stuff, then you need to book that in. So you've got your diary management and you utilize your time. Because one of the things, part of this comes down to self-talk as well. I've learned this a little bit from personal experience, is if I sit down in the afternoon and I've got no official appointments in my afternoon, and I tell myself, I've got all afternoon to record this training video, then my afternoon disappears, or I spend the whole afternoon thinking about it and it takes me hours. Whereas if I say I've got 30 minutes to do this video and it's booked in this time, then it just gets done and it takes me 30 minutes and I either finish for the day or I get to move on and get more stuff done. It's interesting how that works, but just be aware of how you talk to yourself around time. So with all that, here are our 6 steps for planning your outstanding year, which summarizes what we've just been through. Step 1 is fill in the rocks. These are the big events, birthdays, holidays, Christmas. So fill in for your both personal and business side of things. Then step 2, have a pad of post-it notes. Every time you notice yourself making an excuse to not do something, or I can't do that because, write it down and set it aside. Step 3, now the rocks are in place, add the sand. So these are your marketing strategies, your financial benchmarks, your focus for the month, and do it for every month. Step 4, based on your focus for quarterly and monthly, what are the tasks you need to complete on a weekly or daily basis? What actions done consistently on a daily basis will get you to achieve your goal at the end of the year? And this is the water. This is where we're filling in all the extra little spaces. Book all these tasks into your diary on a recurring weekly basis and discuss with your business partner or someone who will keep you accountable. So get clear. They didn't talk about this in the other steps, but how are you going to keep yourself and your business partners, the leaders in the business, accountable for the tasks you say you're going to do? Because it's one thing to book it all into your week. If all of a sudden you're like, oh, you know what, that's marketing on Tuesday afternoon, I'll just do it tomorrow, or that can wait a week, or I'm not really sure what I need to do. It doesn't get done, it'll stop you from getting your results. So there needs to be some sort of accountability, and this is one of the things that coaches can bring to a conversation if you don't have someone to do that for yourself. So there you go, short and sweet today. I just wanted to give you a really clear outline on how to utilize these tools. Now, remember, your dreams don't work unless you do. So make sure you use these tools. Set aside your, an afternoon or a block of a couple of hours of time to really sit down and work through this. And the sooner you do this into the new financial year, then the more time you have to utilize to really get towards doing it. If you wait until December to go, oh geez, where did the 6 months go? I should really get organized with my time and then do it. You've just lost 6 months of your time to really make sure it's useful. Because there's going to be some things that you were doing last year that were great for the last year, but may not be relevant for what you want to achieve this year. So we need to refresh and update. So book in some time, make sure you do all these steps. Do them completely. Some of you will be better at doing the year planning. Some of you will be better at doing that hour to hour, day to day plan. We'll make sure you do all of those and connect them together to really make sure that this next financial year is your best year yet. My name's Mark Smith. Please let me know how you go. My email is marksmith@marksmithpeakperformance.com.au. Send me an email if you have any questions, and I look forward to hearing how you're going. Take care, and here's to you having an awesome year in business.